Welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, where we make some sense out of the nonsense. Hey, we're in John chapter 10, talking about this whole Good Shepherd parable, right? We on Monday night or Tuesday night, whatever night we're on, we were challenging you to really think about this whole sheepfold thing. Last night we were talking about front door and over the wall. Can you distinguish those two things, right? And I want to pick it up in verse 3, right? Or verse 2, but he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. That's where the authority comes from, right? So we recognize that the good shepherd's going to come through the door. He owns the sheep. He's the shepherd, right? Do you recognize that? Do you recognize and do you save yourself for who walks through the front door? Do you understand that the one who walks through the front door, that's your shepherd? Do you know him? Do you know his voice? Do you understand he puts you in the sheepfold? And therefore, he can take you out of the sheepfold. He takes care of you in the sheepfold, right? Provides for you, does all the things. He is the shepherd. Listen, who you put yourself under, the authority you put yourself under, it matters greatly. Right? It matters greatly. So if someone sneaks over the wall and they say, hey, come with me. I got great pastures for you, great water for you, but we just got to go over the wall. Right? Just if we go over the wall, we'll get it. Right? Understand that anybody who's attempting to get you to go over a wall to get to green pasture, they're not your shepherd. The shepherd's going to lead you through the doorway. Might not look like the door that you want to go through. Might not look or feel like the door you want to go through, but they're going to lead you through the doorway. It's what faith and trust are all about, right? I don't know about you, but hoisting a sheep up over the wall and drop them on the other side has disaster written all over it. And that's usually what happens. We never even get to the green pasture in life, right? We're dropped over the wall, hit the ground, right? And we end up being hurt. We end up with problems. Even if we make it to the green pasture, right? We end up being right where we shouldn't be. And here's the truth, right? The good shepherd loves us. He's bringing us to good pasture, good water, all of those things to invest in us, to take care of us, to be part of the flock, right? The person who's going over the wall has bad intentions for us. He might be fattening us up, but it's for something other than the betterment of the flock. So it might be good for a few minutes. It might be great green grass. But at the end of it, the outcome isn't what we would want. We find ourselves being sacrificed for that which we really weren't wanting to do. We find ourselves in bad situations. We find ourselves where we shouldn't be. The good shepherd, he knows his sheep and they know his voice, and he enters through the front door to call to them. That's what he does, right? So I want you to look at verse 3. It says, to him the gatekeeper opens, right? I want you to understand, right, that the gatekeeper stands by the gates. When the shepherd walks in, the gatekeeper opens, right, the gate so that the shepherd can get his sheep. He's deposited them in the sheepfold, right, made sure that they had the food and the drink. The gatekeeper is there making everything safe, right, making sure that the wall, warning the shepherd if, hey, something's off, something's going on, something's happening, right? But the gatekeeper only opens the gate for the shepherd, the rightful shepherd. The reason the enemy has to go over the walls is the gatekeeper isn't going to open the gate, right? But I want you to understand, the gatekeeper doesn't open the gate because the sheep want to come out, right? The sheep might wake up before the shepherd. They might be standing at the gate. But the gatekeeper doesn't open the gate just because the sheep want to go out. Just because the sheep say it's time to get up. The gatekeeper opens the gate when the shepherd comes to get those who are his. When he gets the sheep. Do you understand that? There are times, there are periods in our life where we want the gate to be opened early. We want it to be shut early, right? We want to be in control of the door, right? We want to be in charge of the gate, but we're not. That's not our position. That's not our place. We are to wait for the shepherd. We trust him when he puts us in the sheepfold, and then we trust him when he calls us out of the sheepfold, and we wait for him. I know there are a lot of you listening tonight hoping, like me, God would hurry up a whole bunch of things, right? We just keep butting the gate rather than resting, right? We keep trying to get out rather than resting in the sheepfold, knowing and trusting and having our faith in the Good Shepherd. So the Good Shepherd, he's recognized. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, right? For him. God is going to open up the doorways of life. He's going to open up Jesus to you, but it's on his timing. It's when he thinks that things should be done. It's when he knows, because he knows the whole story, right? Not going to do any for those sheep to be let out and have a pack of wolves waiting at the gate. Right? You want the shepherd to be waiting at the gate, not the enemy. Right? It's why the enemy isn't at the gate. He understands the rules. He wants nothing to do with God's timing, God's places, God's things. You've never heard the enemy say, yeah, do it God's way. Right? The enemy's constantly trying to get into the sheepfold to get the sheep out before time, to cause havoc within the sheep, to do all kinds of bad things. The shepherd, the Good Shepherd, he's got a plan and a purpose for your life. Lots for you to chew on. I hope that you chew on that tonight. We're going to continue on tomorrow night here on Nightly Nonsense.